Well, hello and welcome. I'm Rob, and today we're going to get started in our course by having a look at what information systems are all about, talk about some of the terminology we're going to be using over and over again, and the differences between different terms, and why things are so important in business. So let's have a look. I guess let's start with what an information system is. That would be a good place to start. A system is a group of components that interact to produce or achieve some purpose. An information system then, and we'll abbreviate that with IS from now on, is a group of components that produce information. All right, so there's a key concept there. And you think about it, we live in a data-centered world, don't we? Data and information are pretty important. So far, though, I haven't said anything about technology, have I? In fact, you can have systems that have nothing to do with computers or technology in any way. Businesses have always been collections of systems. You know, someone comes up with a good idea or a good way to get something done, and they turn that into a business. Well, let's go a step further and talk about computer-based information systems. Now, a nice way to think about those is using this little 5-component model that I've got here. And in that, we think, okay, we've got computer hardware and software. That's fine. And that traditionally might be what someone thinks about when you say, oh, let's talk about an information system. But there's a lot more to it as well. We have to think about the data, how we're storing and collecting and managing and using our data. And then the piece that people often don't really appreciate very well are the last two, procedures and people. That's sort of the human side, isn't it? That's really when we get into the human side of our systems. And that, for the most part, is a lot of what Biz 241 is about. It's also the most difficult or challenging part of systems. You know, it's pretty easy to think of hardware being dependable these days and software being dependable. It does what it's supposed to do for the most part. We know what it's supposed to do, and we can go and buy it and put it in place. The tricky piece is people. They don't always work the way we might expect. Everyone is different. People work for different reasons and motivations. There's sometimes things going on in the background that make it difficult for someone to do things the way that you might like them to do it, all that sort of thing. So people are fascinating and varied and complex, and that makes them the difficult component of an information system. So we'll do a lot of our focus in this course on the people side of things. But let's not forget the other components as well. So a management information system then, let's put the word management in the front. Well, that's where we're trying to develop and use information systems in a way that help businesses achieve what it is they want to achieve. That's really it, isn't it? We're talking about getting things done in business. It doesn't matter if you're not for profit or a for-profit business. Business value is key, isn't it? And so let's keep that in mind as well. Business value is key, and that sort of gives me kind of a bunch of things coming out of that are important. We're going to be investing in systems, so they're big investments, aren't they? We should probably expect returns from those investments. You know, the days of buying technology just because it's cool, those are long gone. You know, you might do that personally just for fun, but we can't afford to do that in business, can we? We're going to have to justify our investments. So business value is key, and that's got a whole sort of host of implications with it. We have to understand what it is we're trying to do really well, and all of the different areas, not just the hardware software that we need to get those things done, but how that's going to change the jobs of people and the procedures that we do in the company and what kind of data is going to be produced, how we're going to manage that data and control it, and all those sorts of things. So there's a lot going on when I say help businesses achieve their goals and objectives. So the real difference between information systems and information technology is that IS includes people in the mix. So we're including people in the equation. That's going to impact how we design and implement systems, isn't it? We have to think about the people side of it. So that's going to impact that. Successful business people have to keep this in mind, don't they? They understand the crucial difference, and it really is crucial, the crucial difference between IT and IS. So IT is just the hardware software, maybe a bit of the data. IS includes the procedures and people. So it's the final two steps on that. And that's going to help us get the value, right? So help us get more value from things. That's key. So if you want to be successful in business, this is a good course for you because we're going to focus in on all these things as we go through our term. Information systems or management information systems help businesses achieve objectives. Businesses themselves are just legal entities. They don't do anything. It's not until we put people and systems in place that things start to happen. So maybe we sell things, we buy things, we design things, we teach, we produce, we finance, we market, we account for things, we manage things. Whatever it is you do in your business, information systems are going to help you get those things done. Another way to look at it is management information systems empower users, and that's us as business people, to reach our goals. So they exist to help business people. They need to be developed for the right reason. One of the old problems that we used to have with systems is they would be techie driven. So the technology you would have was driven by what the technologist said you should have. Well, that often wasn't a very good fit because they didn't understand what the business people were doing. You know, as a case, I could maybe talk about teaching at Camosun. If we let the technologists who understand technology very well choose the teaching tools that we could use, they might not do a very good job at that. It's probably better to involve the faculty in choosing those tools as well, so that we can not only have a technical perspective, but also a user perspective. Because we have some teaching goals we need to accomplish, and so the only ones who can talk about that would be the faculty and maybe the students. So we don't want to be techie driven anymore. They're still an important part of the process, but users are also important. So let's keep that in mind again, all the way through the term as we talk about our different topics. The users are going to be very important. So we want to make sure we develop and use information systems for the right reasons. We need to take an active role to ensure that systems are going to meet our needs. We're going to learn along the way how we get information systems, and that could be handy, couldn't it? We need to consider all of the user needs during development. So that means we're going to have a lot of consultation with users. We're going to need some good ways of communicating, collecting ideas, collaborating, and sharing, all that sort of thing. And we'll learn about those along the way in this course. We have to learn how to use the systems. Now, you've had some training already, most likely, on using office productivity software like Word and PowerPoint and Excel. And we're going to learn some more as we go through this course, just naturally as we do different projects and exercises. And then after you graduate, of course, in your jobs, you're going to be learning new technology all the time. and new systems and how to use them. We also have to think about the things in the background like security, backup, recovery, all sorts of things we call ancillary functions. They're important. They're maybe not the first things that we think of when we think about the purpose of a system, but they're also an important piece of it. So that gives you maybe a little bit of a sense of some of the topics we're going to cover as we go through the course. So my advice to you is always to ask questions. What's the system going to do for you? What's the purpose of the system? What's it going to enable us to do? We're going through a big change right now at the college, replacing CamLink and other systems with some updated software. So we've been asking these same types of questions as we go. What kind of goals can we accomplish by using the new system? Is it going to help us reach our objectives? So those are all sort of different types of ways of phrasing that purpose that we need to have behind acquiring systems. It's got to be purpose-driven. There's got to be a business reason so that we can generate some value. So that's it for a quick introduction. I've got another video for you as well. And in that one, we're going to look at how systems have really woven their way into business over time and why they're such a fundamental piece of any business or any organization now. So we really can no longer ignore them and just leave understanding technology to the techies. Business people have to have an understanding of what's going on. There's just no way to succeed without it. So I'll see you in that video.